Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again for Exclusives with X Level. I am so excited today to bring to you two of my very dear friends I've had the pleasure of working with for many years that also happen to be stylists that you can work with X Level, which I'm so excited about doing. Everybody that knows me knows how much I love fashion. And when you love fashion, you have great friends normally that help you accomplish. And as everybody knows from any fashion show I've ever produced, my favorite picture at the end is the hashtag it takes a village, because it normally takes at least 30 people. And these two great women can attest to that. I want to first introduce my very sweet and dear friend, Alejandra. Alejandra has been wonderful. Hola. And Alejandra and I worked backstage together on the Neimarcus Fashion Show. She worked as a right hand of mine for, I want to say, about 7 years. And I remember meeting your mom, Alejandra, and we'll go into that in a little bit. But I remember meeting your mom, and she goes, "My daughter's graduated from UT. She needs to come work for you. Can you please, you have an internship available?" And I said, "You know what? I love you already, so I know I'm going to love your daughter." And I'm so excited that she made that introduction because we've done so many galas, so many philanthropic events, as well as fashion shows, and pulled a lot of great things. And you've also styled a lot on your own too. And so it's been wonderful to see your growth. But I'm even happier that you're joining me with Team X Level, and being one of our featured stylists that people can work with through our company as well. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. My next guest that I want to introduce to you all is Krista Ynostrosa. And Krista and I have been very dear friends as well. Krista also worked with me for about 6 years. We met through a very dear friend of both of ours, Robert Mitchell, is who we met with. Krista also graduated from Incarnate Word, and was, while she was graduating, actually started styling with us, and working together, from that. From working with myself, she also went to go work at the School of Parsons. She's also worked at Stage Door Productions and has done a lot of amazing campaigns. And again, I'm so excited that we've all teamed up together to make the world a little bit more fashionable, one garment at a time, as I like to say. But what's most importantly about these amazing women, and about you, Krista, as well, is that we all live a life of authenticity. I think a lot of times when people think of fashion, they think it's superfluous. And I think I speak for all three of us when I like to say every woman that's before me has so much amazing substance to them and are so involved. And that's, I think, what makes us all work really well together, in our fun creative pursuits. So, welcome, Krista.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Thank you. So, as we're going to kind of get started and chatting about this, I have a quick question. So, were you fashionable as a child or not? Just curious. Either one can answer.
I think so. I love fashion as a little kid. Like I have a picture of me with a tiny little baby Louis Vuitton, and I'm 3 years old. Since then, it's been my mom created the monster. She dressed me in cute little stuff, and I went through different, phases where I was a tomboy for a little bit and played sports, and so it was more sporty, and then became more feminine later on, like in high school, and wearing more dresses. But I love a good blazer still. That's one of my
Even me, I'm pulled it out
favorite.
today. Yes, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Krista, what about you?
Mine was a little bit kind of the opposite. So I come from a family that just embraced creativity, but they also had a lot of references to glamour movies from the 60s. So even though it wasn't per se me, I was exposed to a lot of fashion of the times or fashions of, the times of my mom when she was growing up. And so it was always kind of an underlying inspiration to be creative. And so that's kind of what got my interest in fashion in general, was kind of referencing these old movies or this like era of glam.
Uh-huh.
Even though it could not be further away from my family in rural Texas, but at the same time it opened my eyes to this whole other world of luxury and style that obviously I kept on through now.
Yeah.
It's-
Which it's interesting what you're bringing up as well, which I think all of us can attest to. And also, one of the things that we're doing here with X Level as well is entertainment is so informative when it comes to fashion. I think it's also something where before a lot of people, yes, would have to see it in movies or see it in magazine. And now we're studying each other as well, whether that be the streetwear influence through Instagram or just who's your friend is wearing to yesterday. So I just think
Mm.
that that's also something that inspires all of us. So I'm curious now, where do you both go for inspiration for fashion? Where do you get it?
A lot of times it is Instagram, just
Mhm.
seeing different people like, oh, I like this outfit. Let me see where did she get this? And now they have those like to know it stuff, and you can instantly click on, oh, she got it at this, and you think like not everything has to be expensive, not everything has to be high, super high end. You can
Right.
still find fashionable pieces that are you know more affordable.
No, definitely. What about you, Krista?
Absolutely. That I definitely am obsessed with Instagram. I might be
Mhm.
borderline addicted. Like it's a go-to for me, with that. I think it's interesting. I think they did a study, how long people will go, standing in a line or being idle before they whip out their phone and pull up an app.
Uh-huh.
And I think I am definitely one of those people that 20 seconds max. And I've got Instagram up and I've made it kind of like a great curation of fashion, art, lifestyle,
Mhm.
um, celebrities, people that are of interest. So I'm constantly on there looking for inspiration, whether it be a color palette or it might be just an aspirational look.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
I personally may not be able to purchase those exact items, but just the idea of like how they're put together. And it's
Mhm.
funny because between me and my close girlfriends who have common interests in fashion in general, we share all these pages. We're like, oh, I'm obsessed with this, I'm obsessed with that. So it's almost like a community effort.
Right.
And,
Mhm.
it's hilarious because then we all wind up kind of having similar pieces, but we're all so different. So then we all style them very differently.
Right.
So I think it becomes like a really fun network for fashion these days, but definitely social media has kind of taken over that for me as
Right.
well.
No,
Mhm.
definitely. And I think that for many of us, I think us as we're looking at what you stated earlier, and I think that that's what the importance is of people that are stylists, such as ourselves,
Mhm.
that all love fashion and putting things together. It's how things
Mhm.
go differently on a different person.
Mhm.
And I feel as if a lot of times people are lost. And for us, we all three love it and can live and breathe it and can edit it. I think a great stylist is a great editor. You have to know how to edit your look or edit the look of your client the best way possible to achieve a maximum result. But for those that are their eye isn't there naturally, because they could be great at something else, you know,
Mhm.
accounting. That's not my strength. I love, the other side of it. There's a reason I have an accountant, I like to say. Was I tell you, but I don't get me wrong, I can do it. I just would rather do the artistic side and be creative a
Mhm.
little bit more than others. But with that being stated, I think that that's where we dispel the myth because I think for you, Instagram is great. For Alejandra, we're looking at it because we know how to kind of pick out what works for us or what we're looking for someone. But for someone that's novice, it can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
It could be
Yeah.
possibly like getting lost in a financial report through being forensic analysis. For me, I'd be like, sorry, where a person that does it every day could go in and say, okay, this is what we're looking for. And I just and I think that that's something I would love to kind of talk to you both about is how you all have worked with clients in the past and what have been some of the best relationships that you have formed. Krista, why don't we start with you?
Sure. So, I've kind of been privileged to have several different scenarios where I've worked with people personally on their closet and their
Mhm.
wardrobe. And it's interesting because it always starts with a close friend that, like you say, they just don't have that eye and they get overwhelmed and they seek me out to help them. And it's kind of more of like me helping them as like a sister.
Uh-huh.
But, through that, you find that there's a lot of psychology behind clothing and why people look the way that they look and why they choose to or choose not to look the way they wish to look. There's a lot of layers that you go through in getting to know somebody intimately when
Right.
it comes to their personal style. And it can be very overwhelming. So it's always nice to have somebody that you feel safe with, that you feel confident with. Um, and that can translate into where I was previous, which was working in house in a corporate advertising aspect. So we took those same basics of the anthropology behind fashion and what you're
Mhm.
trying to show to your customer base from a brand perspective. It's the same as like a personal person like you and I.
Right.
How do we want to represent ourselves? What's the brand, you know? And if you know what that is and you can put it together, that's great. It goes the same way for a company that's
Right.
trying to appeal to a
Mhm.
wider demographic. So on both levels, being able to kind of break it down and think about the psychology of it, that is where I always start. So,
Uh-huh.
what those basics are, the science behind it, what's going to flatter your body, what's the technical things that are going to actually work for you, and then
Mhm.
getting into your comfort zone. What are you comfortable with? Patterns, prints. Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Like, are you subtle? Are you flashy? Like, all those things, there's no wrong answer, and it's kind
Right.
of like putting together an algorithm that works best for you.
Right.
That's kind of how I approach it, and that way I'm able to style people beyond my own personal style and be able to style them for themselves or for the company for themselves.
No, definitely. I think that that's one of the reasons that X level is because we love strategy. And I think all three
Mhm.
of us that work together, it's trying to figure out what's the right strategy, whether it's a talent or a client or a brand. And because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, everything has a brand associated with it too. Alejandra, I know you've done a lot of commercial work here as well, which is also
Yeah.
differently too, because sometimes you're given a challenge. And I'm just curious, what's
Right.
been one of the biggest challenges that you've overcome in that commercial work field?
Well, the clients sometimes fight with the director. The director has this vision of, I want this, I want this. And the client's like, no, I want more subdued. And the director's like, want some crazy looks. And
Right.
they have to meet somewhere in the middle. Like, okay, you can kind of bring a little edge to it, bring some fashionable stuff, but this is our brand and we have to represent that look.
Right.
And I get to style more everyday people. So it's people of all shapes and sizes. So you have to find what's comfortable for each person too, because it can look, you have a vision and then it doesn't look a certain way. And you have
Mm.
to, fix, help the person and so they are comfortable in their clothes too.
Right.
So that's one of the challenges that I've had, to style people of sizes versus like when I style for runway shows and it's all models that look at amazing in everything. And you're just like,
Right.
wow, you just put
Well,
anything on them.
and
But
even then, how many times did my alterations
yeah,
move us? Because it's
it's
like
still
it was great in our mind, and it's so funny.
yeah.
The girls can attest to anyone that worked with me backstage. The model would come out and literally had to put on every piece of jewelry, as everybody knows how much I love it.
Hmm.
Um, so I could really see how it all played together. And it was until then it was approved, then the picture was taken. And I would always
Mhm.
say, I know up until and the later shows, Alejandra would be like, let me make sure the phone is connected well to the printer so we can make sure that it's there because then every dresser and the model has to really understand how the look had to be. But it goes back to making sure every piece works well together. And I think what we're all talking about, which is really interesting, whether it's a model or a person, and that's one thing I will say that I love about the fashion world now is it's diversifying and showing a plethora of all beautiful faces, which I think is
Mhm.
so key and important um, for fashion to be representative of everyone that exists because everyone is beautiful and there's beauty in us. Is
Mhm.
that everyone that both of you have all talked about, which is so important, is that the person feel right because that I think is a big fundamental truth when it comes to fashion is if you feel good, if you look good, you're also going to be able to feel good because sometimes with everything going on right now in the world, you might not feel so good. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay that things are changing and evolving. But sometimes it's as easy as changing a lipstick to trying to
Mhm.
hairstyle to getting out of sweats, you know what I mean? Just to do
Right.
something to uplift your mood. But I think that sometimes people aren't paying attention to that, but that they should. And it's not from a perspective because I think for a long time fashion had a bad name of being superfluous, and it's not. It's
Mhm.
substantive because if it can really help you grow, that is not going to, take over your happiness. But if you can get some joy
Right.
in it and then keep on working on that joy, I think it can help you get out of something that you might have not realized. Because, like you said earlier, it's psychological because there's reasons people have chosen certain attire for a while. And it doesn't mean we're going to change them because that's not our job. Our job is just to bring out the best version of within themselves and have them have fun with it. I think sometimes people forget about having fun with fashion. That, that's a
Right.
very big
Absolutely.
F to have with fashion, is having a lot of fun. No, definitely. So I'm curious.
Jewelry. What are you wearing?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I will tell you, everybody that knows me knows how much I love jewelry. And yes, one of my favorite things I would always say in fashion shows, I was commenting, I always say, your bracelets need friends, just like you need more friends. So does your arm candy. I know Ken County actually came up with the arm candy, which I love. I'm sure Iris Amphil came up with it first. So there's always credit to be shared with everybody, and the history of fashion is so important. But I have to tell you, I love this is actually Tao, a friend of mine, Vanessa, is a designer. It's from Colombia. And I love these enamel earrings because my name means star. So they have little stars. But what I love about these, and I would take them out right now, but since we're on camera, I won't, but I'll show it to you later in a little Instagram post. They're convertible earrings. So what I love is when we can travel again, you can actually just keep the posts in, and every piece is a emerald from Colombia, and they are all made ethically, which is something that I love about her. And I love the look. I love the geometry in it. It's like a modern take on indigenous design would be the best way I could describe the line. And I love, love, love the aesthetic. I think it's very cool. So thank you for asking. Sorry, that's a very long answer, and I'm not excited about it. I met her in Colombia at the Latin American Fashion Summit. And when I met her, I just liked her as a person and immediately bought the jewelry. And I've been working with her since. And I'm super, super excited to be doing some other fun stuff. But yeah. Oh, and I even got a cuff. See, yes. I'm
Oh,
obsessed with her
cute. Very cute.
So if you were to ask me, what did you get recently? A bunch of TAO jewelry that I can layer with all the looks and just make it look different, even though it's the same white shirt you might have seen in a Zoom video,
Yeah.
a while back, but just making it new, which is fun. Okay, so on that note, what's your favorite thing you've gotten for yourself through quarantine? Or have you gotten anything fashionable that you're like,
Oh, shopping too much.
or there might be several things. I don't know. Tell us.
Oh, I got these shoes that are snake print, like they're orange, so it's different, but I haven't gone to wear them because like I need somewhere fabulous. No one's gonna see me.
Well,
So, but I've worn them around the house.
well, good. Well, I'm ready to see your outfit of the day picture in the near future. Just tag X level so we can.
Yeah.
Those were the orange shoes she was talking about. I love it. What about you, Krista?
I don't know why, but I became obsessed with a voluminous sleeve. So I went on a
Oh
shopping
yeah,
rampage
some
where,
big sleeves.
well, and like I got a dolman situation happening here, but I bought several blouses now that are just very voluminous in the sleeve with the collar. I have no idea why. So that's what I'm all about right now. Somehow quarantine equated to, statement shoulders. I
I
don't
love it.
know, but it works for me. It makes me happy. I think it's a new silhouette, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's what quarantining, you're not like socializing as much anymore. You are kind of just diving into your phones and seeing all these really cute clothes and swimsuits and things. And there's nobody that you're really going to see. So there's kind of that fear of like, oh, can I pull this off? Like, you can do whatever you want. You're
Right.
quarantining. You're going to see the same four people over and over again. And usually they're the ones that will support you no matter what. So you're like, I'm going to bust out my really, eccentric couture shirt that I have here.
Right.
Might as well send pictures to my friends across, the country and see what they think about it. And so, yeah, that's the sleeve for sure. I'm all
I
about the sleeve
actually
right now.
bought another top like that had the big sleeve. It's like a bright animal print too with the big puff sleeve. It's really cute. Can't wait to
I
wear
don't
it.
know what it is. I don't know what it
Okay,
is.
next
It's
call. I think we all need to wear our new favorite thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a sleeve call.
Yeah.
We'll be like,
absolutely.
okay, we're ready to show you the sleeves. And last question I'm going to say before, and I'm just curious, have you been dressing up or dressing down? Because I've been meaning to ask this question, and I can already tell you my answer, but I'm going to wait for you all, then I'll fill in at the end. I do not want to. So what
I've mostly been in sweats or like yoga pants. So like everyday attire is my exercise clothes. Because that's all I work out in the afternoons. I'm like, well, might as well just stay in my workout clothes.
So cute. I love
But,
it.
like today, I was like excited that I got to wear makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been wearing makeup like once a
same.
week.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same here. Yeah, I work out, same thing. Like, I guess because you are kind of situated where you're inside, all I want to do is be outside.
Right.
So
Mhm.
usually it's just, clothes that I can, it's obviously we're in Texas, so it's sweltering. So stuff that I am comfortable being outside in.
Mhm.
Usually athletic attire for sure,
Mhm.
athleisure.
Uh-huh.
But now any excuse that I'm going to be out in public or if I'm on a Zoom call or anything like that, I'm very happy to put together a little bit of an outfit, just a little bit of a cute
Yeah.
look because I actually have a reason to put on real clothes that have like
Mhm.
buttons and zippers
Mhm.
versus just elastic or stretchy fabric. So
You have to try on your
again,
feet to see if they fit.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you
I'm
know,
like, oh, good, these still fit.
I will say that's been for me. The first week, like everyone else, I was very casual, and I have to be honest with you, it did play like a little mental psyche.
Yeah,
It wasn't until I'll never forget blow drying my hair for the first time. I was like really blow drying it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, here's me. I don't know what it was. It's still the same person, but after I did that, I'm like, okay, ready to build a company, ready to go back
yeah.
into this. We will get through this somehow. We're going to be inventive. We're going to figure things out. But that was one of those things that for me was so key and important was in doing that. And I will tell you this. It's funny that you say that, Alejandra. I have been living in my Levi's jeans. They are the vintage
Mhm.
ones, the redones. I've been
Mhm.
living in them. Why? Because I want to make sure that they're still fitting. You know, so it's like that's like my little gauge of going, okay. And it's so funny because I do like these great fun tops and stuff like that. But I think that if you are to look at a lot of my outfit of the day pictures, they have been
Mhm.
same bottom, just all different tops, on them. And it's so funny because you have plenty of pants and all this other stuff to work off of. But it's always fun. But I will tell you that every once in a while, when I do like the whole outfit, because I'm not just going to be seeing, oh wait, it's all about
Mhm.
that. Those are fun days. I'm like, honey, I made dinner and we're gonna sit very nicely here just because I'm like, I have to make use of this beautiful outfit somehow.
I know.
And my husband, I love him to death, but he's not an Instagram husband yet. So he loves, but he has a limit to how many pictures he can take. So, I'm like, okay, in selfie mode, this doesn't work as well. So let's just wait until later on. So Krista or Crystal, somebody can come over. And then I'm like, okay, I remember that outfit. I'm gonna go put it back on so I can take that fabulous pic. He has many
You're
other.
gonna have to you're gonna have to get one of those like stands for your phone with the light and everything.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm gonna be like, we're tricking this out the best way possible. Definitely. Okay, so I know we had to close it up, but I have a question. If there's one piece of advice either of you would like to give someone that's out there right now, what would that be? No holds Jamar. You can say whatever you want to.
Hmm.
well,
I think I would probably, sorry, I think I would
no.
probably say advice for somebody's out there, and then maybe I should be taking a little bit of my own advice too.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think it's really easy for everyone to get a little tripped up by everything that's happening in the world right now, and it's really easy to say, oh, I wish things would go back to normal, or I can't wait till things go back to normal. And I think the reality that we all need to see is that we're going to be different and changed, you know, from now going forward. And especially pertaining to our industry, just take some solace in the fact that we were always a progressive, forward thinking, ever changing industry.
Right.
And the sky was always the limit. So now it's just giving all of us that opportunity of reinventing the wheel yet again and creating this new universe for us. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been privy to meet the generation that's up and coming, and I think that they have a lot of ambition and a lot of really great ideas that are going to catapult our industry into a new frontier, and I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be a little while to get there, but I think if you keep your ear to the ground, we're going to see like really great things happening. So anytime it's easy to get down because you kind of miss what was once there,
Right.
just remind yourself that, there are good things to come in the new frontier of what's going to happen, especially in fashion and creative arts. So, just always have that sense of wonder, and I think it can change your perspective of all that.
No, very good. What about you, Alejandra?
I would just say like fashion, is subjective. It doesn't have to be like, one thing or the other. You can just be you. And
Right.
if you are creative with your outfits, just have fun and be fashionable in that way. And if you don't have to like follow all the trends if you don't want to, just just wear what you want to wear and make it fun, I would say.
No, definitely. And I think that those are two great things for people to leave. I would tell you that my advice for anybody that is wanting that when it comes to fashion, it's a little bit about combination of what both of you stated. It's about having fun with it. Go into your closet, clean it out. But when you're doing that fun closet cleanup, instead of just saying, do I like it? Do I not like it? How did I feel last time in it? Put it on. And
Mm-hmm.
could you reinvent it? I would say that if you just reinvented half of your wardrobe in there, you could have so much more fun and not even realize
Mhm.
what's there. But if you have some extra time right now, and I know that there's a lot going on in the world, but if you have that time, give that time to yourself. And I would also say that for me, also, it's getting grounded. And I would say that, Krista, you're right. I'm very excited about the younger people, what they're coming up with, and all these other things. But what I'm also seeing is a lot of people that are not forgetting the history of fashion, because that would be my biggest advice to anybody working this industry is I'll never forget a very dear friend from Dallas told me this, Mike Thompson, years ago. And I said, "Oh my gosh, this designer's created this." And he goes, "Oh, darling, nobody creates anything. Everything has been done. We're just inspired by each other to do
Mm-hmm.
something different next time with it." And that's always been so true to me. That's why I've always given credit to people who have helped me in the industry because I know I didn't get here alone. And the pie's big enough for all of us to share it and to have a lot of fun with it. And I just think that that is something that is really key and important for all of us in that aspect. And on that note, I am so grateful to both of you for being here with me today. I'm excited about what the future holds for all of us and how we're growing together. And I want everybody out there in cyberspace to know this. Should you want to work with either Chris or Alejandra, you can book them here through us at X Level Inc. Please go to our website and if you or just email info@xlevelinc and we will be happy to set up a consultation. And also if you're far away, it can be a virtual consultation. Don't feel like everybody has to be in your home. Because I think if that's one thing that this all taught us is how we can balance better, investing a little bit of time for ourselves and knowing that there's many different ways to still accomplish the goals that we have and by having fun with them. And that's okay. And I will tell you this, I can personally attest that they are amazing, wonderful women. And a lot of people always say, but I want you to work with me. Well, the good news is now there's three. So you can work with all of us when it comes to building that in the future. So before I let you go, each one of you, what's your personal goal to accomplish in this next year?
Uh,
And I know part of it's X Level Inc. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, let's get some new bookings for this year, hopefully, and then I guess we have to learn how to go forward with safety issues, like wearing masks and making sure we're safe. And I guess that's one of the issues that we have to, work with. But it'll be okay. We can.
we did a photo shoot and we all had
Yeah,
masks. We had gloves.
yeah,
I
yeah.
ordered a face shield. It was not fashionably appropriate for that one, so we've ordered new shields that are coming in. But that's okay.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully that we can still book some jobs. That's our goal.
Definitely. What
Have
about
some
you,
fun.
Krista?
Well, yes, of course. I always bountiful work would be great. That's always a good goal. And
Yeah.
keep an eye on the prize. But yeah, probably also a little bit of patience. I think that's kind of where I know me personally, I needed, especially with the current climate.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can become a little impatient. So I'm hoping that this will kind of inadvertently teach me to be more patient and let things happen as they should organically. I think
True.
I've always just been somebody that's tried to spin the wheel and make things happen for myself, which is a good trait, but at the same time, it's a balance between that and then having the
Right.
patience to let things happen as they should. But yes, I actually, and if anybody needs links, I've got links to all kinds of protective things. We have gloves for my kit now,
Yeah.
and I'm sure face masks for my kit now. Protective shields, as you say,
Yeah.
tons of sanitizer. So yeah, I'm researching as we speak, different production things that will become our new normal. So it's
Yeah.
happening.
It's happening, but as I tell everybody, and I did an interview earlier with another friend of mine, Cristina, with Pilora, it's all a matter of perspective. That to me is the biggest goal I have for X Level Inc. is just to offer a positive perspective to everyone that's out there, because I think we can all get drowned in what we're not allowed to do versus focusing on what we can do. And I think when you focus on what you can do, many things become possible because you finally start looking for that, because you'll always find whatever you're looking for. So if you're focused
Mhm.
on what's not working, you're going to find it. But if
Right.
instead you focus on what is working, it's interesting how things just start working in their own way. And whatever's not meant for you will go away on its own. And whatever's meant for you will stay its course the right way for you. And that would be my last piece of advice for everybody. So again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today on X Level Inc. Exclusives. I'm so excited to have Alejandra and Krista here. As I stated to you before, you never know which one of my fabulous friends are going to meet on Next Level Exclusive. So be sure to subscribe, and I will put links to everything we talked about and also some of the protective gear. You'll be able to get those through the link below. But just know that here we're always ready to inspire, to empower, but most importantly, to support each other in accomplishing our goals. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.